Good morning, traders. How's everyone doing? Sorry, we're getting a couple minute late start. We had some crazy thunderstorms last night and knocked our power out. I wasn't even sure if I was going to be able to stream today. So I had to reconnect to YouTube and messed all kinds of stuff up. That's why you guys may have had to click on a different video than the one that was originally scheduled. Can you guys hear me? Type in the chat if you can hear me. Good morning, Paul. Good morning, Susie. Cool. Glad you can hear me. All right. So let's see what we got going on here. After Monday and Tuesday, not much volatility. It definitely returned, right? I'm going to clean up my chart a little bit. I did take a couple of trades last night, which I can walk you guys through in a little while, but we'll kind of get ready for market open and I'll give you a little rundown of what I'm looking at here. So higher time frames. This London low, originally at about 3 o'clock this morning Central Time. If you look left, there was quite a bit of liquidity in this area. And you can see it bounced once, and then with that news release this morning, it bounced again. So I'm thinking if it holds that level, we could potentially go higher. So that would kind of be a line in the sand for me there. If we drop below the London low at this New York open, then there's quite a bit of room to the downside. We could hit this level right here at about 644 or even lower at the previous week point of control, which also has a nice wick at 472. I mean, that'd be a super bearish outcome, but that's kind of the level that I'd be watching there is the London low. If it holds that, then we could go back up. If it drops below, then we're definitely going lower. And then, I mean, it's been a downtrend all night. So this wick right here that we just had, it was technically a higher high, although it didn't hold it. So, I mean, we could be coming back down to maybe retest VWAP or this previous day low, which is often an area of support. We could potentially come down here at the New York open and bounce higher. So that's kind of a couple scenarios that I'd be looking at. Possibly, if we're looking for longs, if it holds this area, which is kind of around VWAP and previous day low level, we could come back up to potentially yesterday's point of control. Let me delete that and show you guys this level up here, point of control. That'd be like a bullish scenario because that area often gets retested. That would be an option. Or if we end up breaking down below this London low, I could see us maybe coming down, retesting, and then going lower. Just a couple things I'd be looking for. So really, I'm gonna be patient today. If you guys watched my recap video, I've had 2 really good trading days with I've just been on it. My most profitable day is back to back, which is cool. I'm excited for it, but I also know mentally I need to be a little bit calm about it and just stick to the plan. I don't want to get excited and cocky and size up and take too many trades and just, get into that mindset of I got this. So today I'll definitely be selective and careful with my trades. Also, because I did take a couple of trades last night, and in my top one futures funded accounts, I hit my daily profit target, so I locked those accounts out. And then on this journey, I want to be totally transparent with you guys and not just share all the wonderful wins, but also share the losses. So I did get chopped up a little bit and over traded last night, and actually hit my daily loss limit on my the futures desk accounts. So those two are done for today. So I will be trading my Top Step XFAs with you guys. So I'll be careful, I'll be selective, and just be patient, see what the market brings. Yeah, Susie, it's like, I released a video about this, just the emotional awareness. Like trying to kind of stay in not too high, not too low range. If you get too low, that turns into like a spiral and you just get FOMO and oversize and revenge trade and like blow your accounts. And then the opposite end of the spectrum happens too, like you have a win streak, you get cocky, you oversize, you start to think that you know what the market is going to do and you don't follow your plan. Or at least for me, I shouldn't say you, me. So I want to like bring myself back to center and just trade the plan. Stay small, be patient. That's where I'm at today. All right, market is open. Good morning, good morning. Big buy up right off the bat. So immediately breaking through those overnight highs. So we do have this little wick there. I could potentially grab that liquidity and come lower. If we look to the left, we do have that same kind of area resistance. That if-then scenario picture that I painted earlier, I wouldn't want to jump in along here. I would like to see it maybe pull back to VWAP or this previous day low before entering along. Or who knows, like I said, it could be grabbing some of this liquidity and getting ready for a move lower. So just being patient this morning. We did have a pattern that I've noticed. And when I say these things, I don't have like Edgeful data or like back-tested numbers to share with you guys. It's just a pattern I've noticed. When we have a news release, let's say 8:30 Eastern time, and then the market opens at 9:30, whatever the trend was from the news often translates into the New York Open. So that news candle brought us up. And that's kind of what we're seeing here in the open so far. But this could just be, the first couple minutes of the open. People are buying, and then it's going to grab some liquidity and go lower. So there's still potential for either direction. So far, this is the 15-minute opening range low. And then up here so far, this is a 15-minute opening range high. What are you guys thinking? Anything different from the if-then scenarios I painted? You thinking we're going up, going down? What are your thoughts? Let me make sure I'm logged into the account I'm going to be trading with you guys today. So these are some new XFAs I just started. I just passed the combine. So today's the first day trading with them. Down, yeah, I'm with you, Beverly. That's kind of why I'm being patient. Like, I'm not even thinking about jumping into a long. There's quite a bit of resistance up here. So this white line is yesterday's New York Open anchored VWAP. This gray line is the weekly open anchored VWAP. So we're below those. And then, of course, overnight, this whole like trend down. So that's kind of what I'm leaning towards as well. There's quite a bit of resistance here to the left, which is also in line with yesterday's New York VWAP. I could see where it could maybe come up there, grab that liquidity, hit that resistance, come back down. Leaning towards bearish, but I like what Susie said. Be flexible. I just put my levels on the market and watch how price reacts to those levels. We had some crazy thunderstorms last night. And by crazy, I mean like no damage, just loud. Like the kind of thunder that, I mean, each boom lasted like 3 or 4 seconds. So the whole family was in my bed, including the dog tried to get in the bed, but he was denied. I pushed him back on the floor. But all the kids were in my bed, so I've been awake since like 2:45 this morning. It's hard to sleep with the whole family in your bed. So I'm wide awake. I'm ready to go. I've already worked out. I've done laundry. I've had some coffee. But message me, check in on me at like noon. I'm going to be ready for a nap. Yeah, I'm in Texas, Houston. Just south of Houston is where I'm at. We're getting lots of rain. Here in Houston, we're used to the rain though. Like this is just lots of water. And I live in a part of Houston where our drainage is good, so we don't flood or anything. It's not like downtown Houston where people flood when there's a lot of rain. So I'm good. Just kids that don't sleep through it. They all came running into the room crying. We are getting into Susie's comment about thunderstorms in the U.S. Scary. We're getting into hurricane season, so here in Houston, that's definitely something for us to have to watch out for. I'm originally from California, so we used to be prepared for earthquakes. So when I came to Texas, I was like, what? Hurricanes? But now I'm used to it. All right, starting to get a move lower. I think if I was to take a short, I would, first of all, I want to wait for the 15-minute opening range to settle. But I would want it to be below this VWAP, which is also in line with this red VWAP, which is anchored from the London low from overnight. So this session low, not the New York low. So that would be an area where I would potentially take a short if it convincingly closed below there. But a better scenario for a short, if we're going to take a short, would be, like I said earlier, maybe a bounce up to this New York anchor VWAP from yesterday, value area low, like somewhere in this region right here. If it hits somewhere in this area and it has a strong rejection, I would like that short idea better, I think. You guys taking any trades so far? You guys staying patient? Or are you flat? Or what about pre-market? Anyone take trades last night or early this morning? I know I think I talked about it on the stream on Tuesday with you guys, and then I posted about it too. I do have a Top 1 Futures challenge account to give away today. So I'll be doing that later. Maybe when we hit a point in the market where there's not really any trades to be taken, we'll do a drawing for that. So stick around. I forgot to turn on some music. Let me find something. Get a little background noise. No trades for Susie. G-Man, did you trade gold last night? Oh, he might be in his meeting. I don't know. Bookmap. Let's see what Bookmap's looking like. Does anyone, I know a couple of you have asked about Bookmap. Does anyone have the actual Bookmap subscription? Or anyone like interested in Bookmap? A little trick, if you guys are curious about Bookmap and want to watch it, you can get it for free on YouTube. Just type in like NQ or ES, whichever you're looking at, and type in live Bookmap. And there's people that stream it on their channels. I do that just because I don't watch Bookmap that much. Like in terms of my confluences is probably like at the bottom of the list. So I don't want to pay, I think it's like $150, $200 a month or something. Like it's not cheap. So I do the free version. Just a little tip if you guys didn't know that. Yeah, Susie, I'm torn on Bookmap. It messes me up a lot of times. Like I said on the stream with Austin yesterday, like let's say I'm in a long, for example, and Bookmap shows that there's a whole bunch of orders up at like 800 or whatever, just to throw a number out there. Then I'll like set my target at that level and not pay attention to price action, and then a lot of times have to like take a lower profit target or like get out at break even or something just because I didn't pay attention to price action. I was trying to get to that level that shows on Bookmap. So I try not to pay attention to it too heavily. That's why I said it's bottom of the list in terms of my confluences. All right, we're about 13 minutes into the open, still kind of just chopping around. Hasn't grabbed any of my levels or anything. So this gray shaded area is a high volume area from a higher time frame. And a lot of times I've found, like, if there's a choppy consolidation in one of the high volume areas, it can either serve as support or resistance. So obviously that's like, duh, it could go up or it could go down. But I find that it kind of is an area of chop before it makes a decision. So like if it starts to chop and then break out strongly, we could be looking at longs. If it starts to chop and then reject strongly, we could be looking at shorts. So again, when I have these levels on my chart, I look for reactions at the levels. I'm not trying to predict if it goes up or down. I just see how it reacts at the levels that I have drawn out. So this gray line, I know it's kind of hard to see, but that is the VWAP that's anchored from the start of the week. So if we hold below that, and this yesterday's anchored VWAP, we could be looking at shorts. It's kind of what I'm thinking. Zoom out a little bit to the 5 minute. Look at some levels to the left. Now we're getting some selling. Yep, there's that weekly VWAP I was telling you about. And this gray shaded area. So it didn't quite come up to this region I was talking about up here for a short. I didn't grab that yet. So potentially could come up and then come back down, or it could just go down from here. We'll see. The 15-minute range has been set, so a couple possibilities. There could be a fake out and then back down, or if it just comes down from here and busts through that New York VWAP, we could potentially take a short, but that would be not as good of a risk to reward. So we'll just be patient. That's the name of the game today. I know Susie made a comment about kind of starting to play around with high volume nodes and figure out support and resistance with volume. It's pretty cool. Like, I'm not saying I'm a master at it at all, but when you start to get confident with your levels, it's pretty cool to see how price reacts at a level that you've drawn. Like, for example, this gray shaded area I was talking about. Just chopping around in here. And once we get a breakout in either direction, I'm guessing it's going to be somewhat strong. There's a battle going on between buyers and sellers. Let's see who wins. So I do like to do play the 15-minute opening range breakouts. If we break out to the upside, I'm not taking a long. unless we break out, retest, and then continue higher. That would be a potential. I wouldn't take a long immediately, like on this break right here, because what I was talking about a couple seconds ago, I could see us possibly faking out, hitting yesterday's anchored VWAP, and then coming back down. So that's a scenario I'm thinking about. Or, like I said, if we get some strong buying volume, we break out, retest, and continue higher, and that's confirmed with volume, we could potentially be going for longs. So let's see how price reacts, right? I'm having fun with this drawing tool here. I've never used it before, but it makes it easier for you guys to see instead of me just like shaking my mouse around. What's up, G-Man? Did you take any trades on gold last night or NQ? All right, so it's kind of breaking above that 15-minute opening range high. Not super convincing right now, though. Still kind of looking weak to me. And then again, looking at the 5-minute chart, if we zoom out, there's quite a bit of support resistance right here. That's a big level. So to me, just kind of playing out around with the risk to reward tool, I'm not entering anything yet. The risk to reward for a short back down to the range low is decent. I mean, we would only, if I put it up here above those wicks and then targeted back to the range low, that's not bad. All right, I'm gonna enter a small short. Not too much risk, just kind of feeling out that fake out to the upside, rejecting that 15-minute opening range high, lots of resistance above. If we were to like start to get really heavy and have some volume behind this and break below that New York anchored VWAP, we could potentially add to the position, but I could see it coming down to range low, the opening range low, which is also in line with VWAP and the anchored low from the low of today, anchored VWAP from the low of today. So that would be my target at 815. What is my entry? 872.5 is technically my entry. So a little lower. And then I'm gonna give it a little bit of room just because yesterday's anchored VWAP is still up here. And that's still a good risk to reward. So if you guys don't use, if you're TradingView people, if you don't use these long and short tools, I would recommend it. It helps keep your risk within line. So I try to risk no more than $200 per trade. Um, oh, the music that I chose has commercials in the background. So this risk to reward tool, if you change, like I said, I try to risk no more than $200 per trade. If you guys didn't know this, you can go into the settings on it and put in your risk in dollars. It'll also be like a percentage of your portfolio or whatever, but I put risk $200 and then it tells me how many contracts. So quantity 3.5. So on the instrument I'm trading, which is MNQ, I can take either 3 or 4 contracts and that'll be right around the $200 risk. So if I get stopped out, that's what it would be. And that helps a lot, so you're not having to guess and be like, how many should I buy? All right, Susie, are you short at 873? Are we going short together? Kind of just chopping around. I feel decent about this. Like I said, I just took a small position. Lots of resistance up here. I mean, if buyers were going to take control, they could have easily broken out, but they're not. So if we get a strong close below this anchored VWAP, I might add one more. I'm not going to add too much more because then it'll make my average lower, and I don't want to do that. So at this point, I'm going to make my stop loss just right above that wick. And I'm going to sell one more. And I'm just going to target the 15-minute range low. I don't want to be greedy with it today. That would be a good trade. I'll take $400. I do feel like we're going to go a lot lower today, potentially. But I'll take it off there and then look for another trade if we get there. Looks like it's coming back up a little bit. I'll move this down. My average is closer to 867 now since I entered one more. Cool, Beverly took it too. So broke below, anchored VWAP, came back up, retested. Let's see if we reject again and continue down to this range low. I do have my stop loss now above that wick. My gray box. Which one? Are you talking about this shaded area right here? The long, like, scope gray box? Is that what you're talking about, Nick? So that is on the higher time frames, like when I'm setting up my chart over the weekend. Actually, I do this on like Saturday or Sunday when the market's not trading. I turn on my visible range volume profile tool, and which is the volume on the right side, and I move to the higher time frames, like the 1 hour, 4 hour, sometimes 30-minute, depending on what the PA looks like. And I'll mark off the high volume nodes. So I'll show you here in a second after this trade plays out. But like these gray shaded areas, if there's an area where volume sticks out a lot, I'll grab my rectangle tool and I'll mark off like that's a high volume area. Yeah, G-Man, so I do it, since I'm doing it on the higher time frames, like the 1 hour, 4 hour, my levels don't shift that much. So I'll spend some time over the weekend and do it like good, get them set, and then daily I'll check them and maybe just they shift a little bit. But they don't change a whole lot just because I'm doing it on the higher time frames. Going back to the choppiness, huh? Making me sweat for this trade. Oops. So I know Beverly got in for a couple seconds, got out. Susie, I know she got in short. Are you still in it, Susie? Anyone else take a trade? Sorry if you guys can hear my kids in the background. They're playing a game and they're like screaming. David's got 2 little scalps so far. I'm not great at scalping. I feel like my anxiety is way too high because you're just waiting for like one candle to move 5 or 10 points or whatever. I'd rather just like do what I'm doing right now, wait for a good setup, wait for it to play out, be okay with getting stopped out if my idea was wrong. I feel like I can be a lot more patient that way. Just like coming up with one good idea and sitting through it and letting it play out, rather than analyzing every little like 1 minute candle with my finger on the trigger ready to close it out when it gets into a profit. I'm not good with that. Yeah, the real life of trading with a mom as a mom. Honestly, the summer has been a little bit of a challenge. I definitely haven't been super mom with like, you know, doing all those perfect summertime activities and like crafts and games all day and like making sure they don't have screen time. They're definitely watching TV and playing on their tablets while I'm trading. The good thing though is it's forcing me to close my computer and be done. Like I'll trade for, you know, an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then turn everything off so that I can make them get off theirs, and then I'm a lot more present with them. Like I don't even look at the charts after that. Like, Susie, you're in our Discord. You saw me talk the last couple days about how I was like done at 11 o'clock. And then I just kind of peeked at the charts at like 2 o'clock and saw all the crazy volatility. I'm not even trading. So it's helped a lot with overtrading, not overtrading over the summer. When they're in school, it's easy to like sit in front of the computer for 5 hours and continue to take trades. All right, starting to get heavy. Let's see if we can get back down to this range low. Come on. So we do have a couple of wicks over here that might give us some trouble. We'll see how it reacts at like that 829 level. If it breaks below that, I feel pretty good about it, at least getting to the 15-minute range low. Again, though, making me sweat for it. Yeah, Susie, scalping just gives me an anxiety attack. And I get too flipped around, like long, short, and then I look at my P&L and I'm like, dang it, I just lost like $200 in the last minute. And all I did was take 3 trades. It's not good for me. I'm not a good scalper. You put your stop at that wick high right there at 873, Susie? All right, come on. Just dump it down to the range low already. I know you want to. Let's look at Bookmap. What do we have? What do we have? See if we have anything good. Yeah, that's where my stop loss is, Susie. Right up at the high of the day, high of the New York session so far. And that's kind of how I feel. If it goes up there, then my idea was wrong, and we're probably going to break out above the 15-minute opening range high. So we'll see, we'll see. There are, I mean, Bookmap, I don't really see it heavy to either direction. That just wicked me out. I see quite a few orders of the upside and the downside, so Bookmap to me doesn't really tell the story. All right, so now we're at that area I was kind of talking about. Yesterday's New York anchored VWAP. Broke out of that 15-minute range high. Let's see if it is a fake out and it comes back lower, or if it's a breakout retest of the 15-minute range high and a move higher. Let's see, let's see. Yeah, Susie, that's why I sized down on that one. I'm okay with that loss. We can always get in again if there's another fake out to the high, fake out above that range and move lower. Or maybe we're going long today. Let's see how it reacts at this level. If you guys have traded live with me before, I've told you that my rule is I'll try the same idea twice. If I'm wrong twice, I get rid of that idea and wait for new information. So if I try another short and I'm wrong, I won't do it again. But we'll see if it rejects this area and starts to get heavy and dumps again. We could potentially take another short. Or if buyers show up, retest the 15-minute opening range high and continues higher, we could be going long. So again, kind of zooming out to the 5-minute. I see these highs over here. There was previous support, turned resistance. Potential level for a rejection. And it is common on these 15-minute opening ranges to have a fake out. So fake out to the upside, trap buyers, and then reject and come back down to the downside. That's definitely a possibility. But we're not having a strong rejection yet, so I'm not interested in a short right now. Also not interested in a long, because yeah, that's a retest, and it's kind of going higher, but nothing strong yet. What are you guys thinking? Are we gonna get a 15-minute opening range breakout to the upside? Or do you think it's gonna be a fake out and we're going lower? Considerations for longs. I know I've been talking about have a little bit of a bearish bias today. But consideration for longs, we are holding above the anchored VWAP from today, from this morning. We're holding above the overnight VWAP. Just kind of looking at the risk to reward. If we were to take a long, enter here, I would probably put my stop loss down there, which is right around the New York anchored VWAP, and potentially target this point of control, although that seems pretty high. Not bad. I would definitely size down on that one because it's a pretty big stop loss. All right, we're starting to get some movement up. So we're breaking above yesterday's anchored VWAP. Still haven't had a candle closure above. We do have these wicks over here that could possibly be resistance at like 911, 21,911. Looking at the 15-minute. Yeah, I mean, we do have room to the upside. If we hold above these wicks at like 911, 913, there's definitely room up to that point of control at 979. Going back to the 1 minute, let's see. We did hold above that 15-minute opening range. So let's see if we entered there. We could potentially put our stop right here at the 15-minute opening range high. That just doesn't give it much room to move. But that target up to point of control is a good target. I mean, that's 74 points. We got a lot of room to move. All right, you guys. I don't like to switch biases, but I am going to enter long. It played out, those if-then scenarios I was playing out, like I was saying, if it rejects yesterday's New York VWAP and comes back down, we could be looking at shorts. If it holds above and buyers show up and moves above this anchored VWAP, we could be looking at longs. Susie, I guess that answers your question, right? Now that I'm entering along. Would you wait? No, Krista didn't wait. Krista wasn't patient. So my reasoning, Susie, is just, like I said, I laid out those two if-then scenarios. If it rejects yesterday's VWAP and also that those wicks to the left here at 911, 913, I would have considered it being a fake out to the downside, fake breakout and return lower. But if we held above this 15-minute opening range high and started to break above yesterday's VWAP on the 15 or the 5-minute chart, just zooming out, that big candle down left a lot of room open to come back up to this point of control, which this is from yesterday's session volume profile. Again, I don't have data for this, but it's very often that the point of control gets retested the following day. So it was kind of just a risk to reward play. Like my if-then scenario played out, and that target to the upside, 74 points, is a decent risk to reward.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom. That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
It's just moving slow. All right, so my actual entry point was 909.75. Right there. And then 979-ish is that point of control if we were to go up there. Let's see what Bookmap shows for orders up above. So there is a pretty good chunk of orders on Bookmap at like 22,000, which is a good psychological level. There's some at 950, 960, 975, like kind of the whole way up. This is like 960, 970, 975, the whole way up. So zooming out a little bit, let's see what we have in terms of resistance. Yeah, I mean, a lot of times I like to take off targets, like limit orders as we move along. But with that big candle down, the only like big level of resistance was here at 914, 915. So if we can get some momentum, I mean, price is like a slow grind right now. If we can get some momentum, I could see it coming up to that point of control at 979. Got to get some volume behind it though. Yeah, yesterday's point of control I have at 980. Take that with a grain of salt though, because I know a lot of times it depends on the indicator. It depends on the time frame that you marked it on. Like if I pull up my session volume profile from yesterday, on the 5-minute chart, it's a little bit different. It would be at like 981. If you go to the 30-minute chart, it is at like 993. So I usually do it on the 1-minute chart is where I look. Beverly says 925 will be a rejection point. Is that based on like a wick high or a resistance level or an indicator that you have? Where are you seeing that from? All right, now that we've moved up a little bit higher and we're holding above this anchored VWAP from yesterday, I am going to set my stop loss here at this previous wick low at 884. Originally, when we entered, I was thinking like, oh, maybe we need to put it down here, but that's way too much wiggle room for me. So 885 is where I'm going to set it. Beverly, what made you say 925 as a rejection level? What's up, Joey? Are you done with your live stream already, Joey? It's early. So we're in a long right now, Joey. I was kind of watching this level right here. I didn't enter immediately on the 15-minute opening range breakout just because I also saw some resistance when I looked left. And then this right here is yesterday's New York anchored VWAP. I thought there would be a potential for a fake out to the upside and then rejection because I kind of had a bearish bias. But now that we're holding above this opening range high and breaking above that VWAP, entered long, and I'm targeting yesterday's point of control. Aw, happy anniversary. What are you guys doing? Taking her out to breakfast, getting some couples massages. That's what I would want to do. All right. Longs are looking decent. So 979, 980, like I said, is kind of what I'm targeting. If we look left, we do have that wick high at 2220, 2215-ish. I don't want to get greedy with my targets though, because I mean, we've kind of been on a downtrend all last night. We finished the day bearish yesterday. I'm not looking for like a breakout home run target. I mean, this is a 69-point trade, but I think I'll take it off fully at that point. Breakfast, now she's with the kids, and later we're going to spend a couple hours together doing something. Cool. Awesome. Well, happy anniversary. All right, you guys, so while we're sitting through this trade, it's moving slow. It might take a while. Like I said, I have a free giveaway today. So I have a 50K challenge account from Top One Futures to give you guys. Since we have a small group, there's 18 of you. We'll do something fun instead of just like putting a code in the chat. I'm going to put you guys in the drawing if you tell me what you had for breakfast. So type in the chat what you have for breakfast, and I'll give you guys some time. And I'll put you guys in a drawing. We'll do it in like the next 10 to 15 minutes or so. So I'll give you guys some time. I had 2 eggs and some egg whites, and then a bagel. I like these Dave's Killer Bread bagels because they have a little bit more protein in them, but they still taste like a regular bagel with some cream cheese on it. It was good. And then some coffee. Just coffee? Nothing? Just grapefruit? Just coffee? What's wrong with you guys? I wake up so hungry in the mornings. Like, first thing I'm thinking about when I wake up is I have to go to the bathroom, drink some water, and food. I'm hungry. But I also worked out this morning, so that makes me extra hungry. Man, I need to come up with a better question to ask you guys. All of you guys just had coffee for breakfast. Adding you guys to my little wheel spinner. And when it's time, I'll put it on the screen so you guys can see it. That's all you had was Celsius? Oh, that would make me sick. If I have an empty stomach and I can drink 1 cup of coffee on an empty stomach, but 2 cups of coffee, I start to get a really upset stomach. So I don't know. I've never drank just Celsius on an empty stomach, but I feel like that wouldn't go well. I gotta have some food. I've never been like to the doctor and diagnosed with blood sugar issues because I've I know how to handle it with my nutrition. But I feel like I have some sort of like hypoglycemia where like if I don't eat or if I just eat carbs without protein or something to like slow down the absorption of the sugar, I don't do well. My blood sugar gets all crazy. I start to get jittery. I don't feel good. All right, I think I have everyone answered. Oh, you did have breakfast. That's right. You said you had breakfast with your wife. But Celsius was part of your breakfast. I love it. All right, you guys. The nutritionist part of me is coming out. Y'all need to add some protein to your breakfast. Get some eggs or egg whites or like yogurt, cottage cheese, something. Yeah, this is slow. That's kind of why I was saying, G-Man, like, I don't want to be greedy with my target. Although I say that relatively because a 69-point trade is a big trade. I know that. But I'm not going to even look at targets higher just because it's been down, trending down all last night. Bearish finish yesterday. And just sellers not really taking control. So hopefully we get some momentum behind this. There you go, Susie. There's some protein. If you guys didn't hear me earlier, I'm going to do a drawing here in, I don't know, 10 minutes or so. If you would like to be entered in the drawing for a free Top 1 Features Challenge account giveaway, type in the chat what you had for breakfast. Tell me what you had for breakfast and I'll add your name to the spinner. Intermittent fasting. Ooh, that's the hot topic, isn't it? Honestly, it depends. So I worked out this morning, so I think that after you work out, you should refuel your body. It helps with like muscle repair and all that. Refueling your body. So if you're working out in the morning, you should eat breakfast. So there's been a lot of studies that show that intermittent fasting is good for men, not necessarily for women, especially menopausal women. So if you're like over the age of 45, 50, intermittent fasting isn't great. And I could get into the whole science behind it, but that's not what this YouTube stream is about. But in a nutshell, when you're in menopause, your cortisol levels are already high, and intermittent fasting increases your cortisol levels even more. And that actually makes your body hold on to fat, makes you retain fat. So, I mean, there's definitely some like medical issues, medical things where intermittent fasting can be beneficial. But for the most part, it's not great for everyone across the board. Kind of depends. All right, got some more breakfast to add to the chat, or add to the wheel. And I see some protein in there. You guys are making me happy. Based on your name intuition. I don't know if you're a male or a female or if you're a menopausal woman, but so I don't know if that applied to you. But yeah. More protein mean more chances of winning? Hey, if you can like show me your food log and tell me how many grams of protein you had at breakfast, maybe I won't increase your chances of winning, but I'll give you a high five because that's awesome. All right, while we're waiting for this slow, choppy trade, I'm gonna share the wheel with you guys. Put it over on this screen so you guys can see it. And confirm that you see your name on the wheel. If you don't, put your name in the chat and tell me, because I want to make sure I got everyone. I think I entered everyone who shared their breakfast with me. So make sure you see your name on the wheel. If you don't, put your name in the chat and I'll add it. And if you just came into the chat and you didn't hear me earlier, we're doing a spin for a challenge account with Top 1 Futures. I have a giveaway for you guys. Sasmit, you're funny. You actually do have your grams. I love it. I'll give you a virtual high five then. If you just came into the chat and you don't know what we're doing, put what you ate for breakfast and I'll add you into the free giveaway. So if you don't see your name, let me know. I'll do it here in a couple minutes. We'll see how our trade's going. Oh my goodness. I'm really surprised that there's not more volume. Like with all the CPI, PPI, like news about tariff deals. There was stuff going on last night with like potential war, like, I mean, not to spread FUD or anything, but there was stuff all over Financial Juice about American embassies in Iran or Iraq closing down. It just seemed like there's lots of stuff to create volatility in the market. Not right now, though. All right, I see one more name I'll add to the wheel real quick. Oops. Not moving anywhere. No duck race? Yeah, on Joey Morgan's channel, he does a duck race. I didn't find that app. I guess I just Googled like giveaway wheel spinner or something like that, and I found this one. I'll do the duck race next time. That sounds fun. Everyone gets their own duck with a name on it, and it's just a goofy cartoon, and they like race. That seems fun. All right, let me check my stop loss. So, kind of starting to get some momentum here. Okay, here we go. We got some buyers showing up. I am going to at least move to break even since we broke out of that consolidation phase. Let's see if we hit our target, and then we can do our drawing. That would be fun timing. So I'll say it one more time for anyone who maybe just showed up in the chat. I'm doing a drawing for a Top 1 Futures Challenge account. If you want to be entered and you haven't already, tell me what you ate for breakfast today, and I'll add your name to the wheel. And we'll see how this trade plays out. If it hits my target or my stop loss within the next couple of minutes, we'll do the wheel drawing right then. If it kind of starts to chop around a little bit more, we'll do it anyway, so we're not sitting here forever. Is anyone else in a long? I think G-Man said you were long. What else are you, anyone else? You guys in any trades at all? All right, we got that one little push. And then the NASDAQ went back to sleep. Take one more look at my chart here and see if there's any resistance I'm not seeing. I still like that point of control target. It's also in line with these wick highs over here. And then, like I said, the point of control often gets recessed. And then we have this big fair value gap right here from that overnight session, which lines up with the point of control. So I think I'll keep my target there. All right, you guys, while we're waiting for the slow grind up, y'all ready for me to do the drawing? Bring my wheel spinner back onto the screen. So you got to be in the chat for me to pick you, because I gotta find you, right? You got to be able to message me. So I'll give you a couple minutes to respond. If I don't hear from a winner, then I'll do a spin again. If you are in the chat, type in the chat, like if I spin and you win, and then I'll connect with you if you have an Instagram or a Discord, wherever I can find you, because I'll need your info to send you the account. All right, drum roll. Let's do it. I'm gonna click spin. Oh, that was almost Joey. G-Man! Sweet. There we go. Connect with me in Discord, G-Man, and I'll send it over to you. That was fun. Thanks for playing, you guys. And now let's see if we can actually hit our target. Maybe that little game will give us some momentum in the market. Let's go. I'll be doing more of those giveaways, you guys. That one was for a Top 1 Futures account, challenge account, 50K. I have a couple more. I think I'm gonna do a giveaway on my Instagram. So if you guys want to follow me on Instagram, Fit Mom Trader down here on the bottom. I actually have my handle down there, so you can follow me there. I'm planning on doing an entry there. And then I'll probably be doing some more stuff on my live streams too. All right, well, I'm gonna sit through this trade for a little while longer. Hopefully we can actually hit our target on stream, right? That'd be cool. So while we're hanging out, you want me to re-roll? Is that what you want me to do, G-Man? You're gonna donate your account to someone else? I'm good with that. You tell me. What do you want me to do? Type in the chat. Tell me if you want me to re-roll and give it to someone else. Okay. Cool. Hopefully you guys didn't leave yet. Thanks, G-Man. All right. We're gonna do another winner. Oh my gosh, are you serious? I thought it was gonna be you again. Nick. Nick is our winner. Are you here in the chat? Type in the chat, let me know if you're here. I'll give Nick a couple minutes to reply. Hopefully he's still here. Woohoo! Nick's still here. Awesome. Okay, awesome. So a couple ways we can connect. If we are in any of the same Discords, send me a message on Discord. I'm not sure where we're connected from. I'm in Joey Morgan's Discord. I'm in the ASFX Discord. You can find me there. If you are on Instagram, come find me there. At fitmom_trader. Send me a message there. Do you have Instagram or do you have Discord? If not, we'll find a different way to connect. But I need some info from you so I can send you that free account. Yeah, G-Man, that was really close. I thought you were going to win again. I was going to be like, it's meant to be. That account needs to be yours. Just kidding. Okay, cool, Nick. Send me a message on Instagram, and I'll get that sent over to you. All right, still looks like we're sitting good in our trade. So, if you guys are interested, if you want to stick around, I'm going to let this trade play out. I'll kind of walk through the Asia trades that I took and the London trades that I took. So I showed this at the beginning of the stream, but I did take one good winning trade in my Top 1 Futures account last night, I think it was. And I locked that one out at 871. I was trading the futures desk as well. And like I said, I want to be transparent on this journey with you guys. It's not all sunshine and roses. I did hit my daily loss limit on that one. So I'll show those trades. And then here in my XFAs, I'm currently up 340. Stop loss on this trade is at break even. If I hit my profit, I'll be up about 750 or so for the day on that. And that's probably where I'll stop and lock myself out for the day. But walking through my trades for today, I took a lot, honestly. I overtraded a little bit. So where was this first one? That was last night at 5:45 my time, 6:45. So this was the first trade. It was a winning trade. The reasoning here was, so we had that gap. I'll turn off the VWAP so you can see it better. But when the session opened, there was a little bit of a gap, a tiny one, so it wasn't significant. But we opened bearish, which a lot of times that's kind of the trend of the session. If we have a strong bearish open like that, with the charts, I was playing around with the rejection of previous day low. Still kind of in a bearish trend. I was looking for more shorts. trying to catch more of the move, thinking we were going to go lower. So I took 2 trades on that rejection of the previous day low, got stopped down on both of them. So that's where I'm down on my futures desk account trades. These other ones were just ones that I kind of drew up, but I didn't actually take them. And then this morning with you guys, if you were on stream, I took that loss. I was shorting the 15-minute opening range high rejection. Ended up getting stopped out there. Flipped over to longs once we broke out above that 15-minute opening range high. So hopefully we hit our target here. Would you ever use the AI bot to trade for me? I don't think so. At least not right now. I feel like I don't understand AI enough, or maybe it's too new. I don't know. I don't know if I trust it. But I say that, and I mean, sometimes I don't trust myself with trading. So, no, I don't think so. What I'm doing right now works. I don't know what the future looks like, though. Like, maybe everyone has a bot in the future. I feel like it's becoming more common for people to create their own like indicators or trade strategies, trade bots where like you can program it yourself and say like, if it hits this level, then enter here and then make my stop loss 20 points lower and my target 40 points lower or whatever with a trailing stop loss. Like people program those kind of things and they have these bots that run for them 24 hours a day. I feel like that's going to become more common. I don't know if I'm smart enough to program something like that, though. Get ChatGPT to write the script? Yeah. Yep. The thing with that, though, is I don't know. I mean, trading, like there has to be winners, there has to be losers. So if trading was as easy as just programming some bot, then everyone would be making money, right? So I don't know how well that would work. So I think at least right now, like if you were to ask me right now, I think I'd rather rely on myself to be able to enter and exit a trade and not rely on a bot. Just so that I can use some discretion, you know? But then my emotions get in the way and messes me up too. So, I don't know. Good question. So while we're sitting here, you guys, do you have any questions for me in terms of like strategy, reasoning behind trades that I took this morning or trades that I took last night? Anything you want me to walk through? I know you guys have been asking about like volume profile and stuff. I wouldn't say I'm an expert on it, but I've definitely gotten better. I'm happy to stick around for a couple more minutes while we're waiting for this trade to play out. How much did I profit yesterday? Actually posted about it on my YouTube, on my trade recap. With my funded accounts, between all my copy trading and stuff, it was right about 4,900 that I made. And then I also had some combine accounts that I don't really count because that's not like real money that I'll be able to potentially withdraw. I made 4,500 in those, so I passed my Top Step combines. So 4,900 in my sim funded accounts. Do you trade each prop separately? If so, you don't get FOMO regarding a setup for those other accounts. I do trade them separately. So I copy trade. Like, for example, in my top one futures, I have 3 that I copy trade. And then in the futures desk, I have 3 that I copy trade. And then in Top Step, I have 3 that I'm copy trading starting today. Today is the first day I did that. So I trade each of those separate prop firms separately, but I copy trade those. So potentially 3 different trades. I don't have FOMO, I don't think, regarding setups for the other accounts. Because I would rather take them separately and split up my risk. So, like, if I'm wrong, I want to just risk my $200 per trade in that one account and then potentially be done with those accounts. But if I'm wrong and I copy trade across all 3 accounts, then it doesn't really give me much chance to trade more and be right in the other accounts, if that makes sense. So, I mean, yeah, there's definitely times where like I catch that one amazing winning trade and I'm like, dang, if I had just copy traded across all 3, then I could be done for today. That's definitely happened, but for the most part, I'm happy with like separating my risk, spreading out my risk a little bit and trading them all separately. Because like today, this session, for example, I had a big win in my top one futures account. I'm doing well in my Top Step account, and I lost in my futures desk account. So overall today, if you like add them all up, it's a green day. But if I had taken my losing trades in all 3 of them, it could be like a really bad red day. So I like distributing my risk a little bit, if that makes sense. Yeah, David, I agree with that. Like, I don't think we're ever going to get to a point where everyone just has a bot that they're trading and we all just make money. like I said, there has to be losers in the market, right? So I don't know how the AI bot trading is actually going to work in the future. G-Man, I think it's helping me too, like splitting up my trades across different accounts. It's helping me not blow up one account. Like overtrade, revenge trade, and like just lose an account. Because I can take like one loss in this one loss in this one loss in that one, and maybe it's just a couple $100 down or $400 down or whatever. And then that's enough losing trades that I'm like, okay, I'm not reading the market well. I'm going to be done for today. But at least I've distributed my risk. So, yeah, I'm maybe missing out on some upside. Like I said, if you have that one winning trade and you just take one trade and you're done with all of your accounts in one day. But kind of just playing the downside, I would rather distribute my risk a little bit and not blow up my accounts, I guess. Well, it looks like it's going to continue to shop around, you guys. I think I'm going to call it and just let this trade play out because I probably won't take a trade after this regardless. Like, even if it comes down to my stop loss and I get out at break even, or if it goes up to my target, this will be my last trade for the day. So, targeting this point of control. If not, then I'll just close out that account with an $18 trade there and up about $340, $350 in this account. Cool. You guys, I will be back here tomorrow morning. All right. Hopefully we'll see you then. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great day, you guys.